Okay, so this is a demo session that we are taking on Spring Boot and microservice. This course name is actually Spring Boot and microservices course actually here. Okay, I just want to give some information before starting the demo here. So what are the prerequisites, basic knowledge you should have? You must have good knowledge on core Java, okay, and advanced Java. Advanced Java, not everything, just servlets. If you are learning advanced Java, also fine. Okay, core Java and advanced Java knowledge minimum. Okay, you need not to be expert in advanced Java. Coding part and all not required, but servlets basic programming just sufficient for this. Core Java must be good. Okay, oops, concepts, classes, interfaces, inheritance. Okay, objects creation. Okay, so oops concepts basic knowledge must here. Without that, you cannot attend here. Now, added advantage if we have additional knowledge, okay, on Spring or Hibernate, that's an advantage. However, we will cover actually we will cover what are required Spring and Hibernate knowledge. However, we will cover, okay, what is required in our Spring Boot and microservice. That Spring concepts and Hibernate concepts we cover, not everything. What are required in the latest versions, what are required, that will cover. And this course is actually duration is completely, it's a 3 months. Okay, 3 months 15 days it may take total. So every day it's a 1 hour session. 1 hour session it will be taken here. So sharp it is going to be started every day 6:30 today. Okay, it started 2 minutes late actually, 6:30 a.m. to it's a 7:30 a.m. every day it will be taken here. And complete course content I'll share in my Facebook group. Okay, so I'll let you know here. Okay, how much this actually payment and all, I'll give admin details later. Okay, so here this one, you should have some basic knowledge here. Core and advanced Java will cover. Spring and Hibernate basics we cover. Okay, so if you don't have much knowledge also here, this completed 3 months 15 days here and 1 hour session every day. Okay, notes will share completely using class drive. Okay, class drive will share actually completely soft copies. All concepts we are going to give soft copies here. Okay, I'll start the demo. If you have any questions also, you can ask at the end. Okay, just listen the session. Now, so if you have any questions, I'll come to your questions at the last. Now, first of all, listen the demo concept here. Syllabus copy I'll post after the session completed. Prasad, I'll give the syllabus copy, okay, as a soft copy I'll give after the session completed using my Facebook group. Okay, now look at this first of all. So if we are working with the concept of any application, generally we write from coding from line number 1 onwards. We can also call from scratch coding. Okay, complete code we should only write. Even if you're using Spring framework, if you're using Spring framework also, so line number 1 onwards you should only write here. Okay, so if you're starting Spring framework, if you are using Spring framework, complete code as a programmer you should only write. Okay, everything you should only write actually here. So for example, you are developing one application, something like, let us just take online shopping application. Online shopping application you are taking here. Okay, this online shopping application line number 1 onwards, okay, up to line number n. Okay, complete lines of code, I'm just calling LOC, lines of code, everything you should only write. Okay, in these lines of code we have mainly two types of code files. Mainly two types of code files here. The first one is actually called Spring Bean. Spring Bean, it's nothing but we have tried some classes that follows the rules given by Spring framework. Okay, we have tried a public class, package statement, private variable. Okay, so default constructor, set get method, hazard relations, like we will be having some rules actually. Spring framework we has given, I'll give those rules later here. Second one is actually called a Spring configuration. Second one is actually Spring configuration. And this configuration we can write in three ways: XML, Java, and annotation. Okay, in case of Spring framework, if you are learning, okay, if you want to develop any application that contains mainly two types of files only. One is called Spring Bean, second one is actually called configuration. Now look at this second one, that is important. It's a configuration file here. Okay, so here in this configuration, if you look at XML, Java, and annotation. Okay, so if you look at the Spring framework, the most important thing in Spring framework is Spring container. The most important thing is in Spring framework is Spring container. What container says actually, hey, I am a ready-made program. Okay, Spring container says actually it will scan your classes. Whatever the Spring Beans you are writing, the classes, it will scan your classes. We can also call this actually Spring Bean. Okay, next one, create object to them. So it is actually going to create object to them here. Okay, once object is created here, link one object with another object. Link one object with another object. Okay, finally, okay, so provide the data based on requirement here. Provide data to variables, link objects. Finally, while stopping application, destroy, destroy the objects and container. Now look at carefully. The first point, okay, before starting Spring Boot concept, you should have basic knowledge of Spring. Okay, that's why I'm just revising. If you know already, very good. If you don't know, please understand here. Spring framework, the first and important concept is Spring container. Okay, so it's actually Spring container. Listen, what Spring container is doing here, I'm just showing here. This is Spring container. This is Spring container. We can all simply container also. Okay, this is actually Spring container. What container is actually going to do? Listen carefully, I may ask the questions in the middle also. You should give reply even. Okay, Spring container will do how many steps actually here? Look at, it is actually going to execute 5 steps total. How many steps here is 5 steps? What are they? Scan your classes, create object to them, provide data to the variables, link one object with another object here, and finally destroy. Okay, assuming it's actually identified, scanned your class, it found one class. Okay, after finding the class, see here we have one class. Okay, that class is found by container. Okay, then container will do what? Create the object. Okay, another class is there, create the object. One more class is there, create the object. One more class is there, create the object. All required objects are created. Step number one, scan your class. Step number two, create the object. Okay, so step number one, scan your class, and step number two, create the object. Step number three, provide data to the variable. Okay, providing some data, assuming something like driver class, URL, username, password, something different kind of data, view resolver data, like it is providing the data. So once data is provided, what is the next thing here is linking one object with another object based on relations. Okay, linking the objects based on the relations actually here. Okay, that is actually linking. That is also called dependency injection here. Linking objects. Finally, your work is done. Okay, everything is done here. At last, destroy. Okay, after usage, okay, you have to use this application. Your usage done. You are stopping the application. Then it will destroy the object. Okay, listen carefully. These are the 5 steps. Okay, I'm just giving in the chart also here. Okay, so the first one, scan or find your class. Second, create the object. Third, provide the data. Next, link objects. Finally, destroy. Okay, It's very good, happy. Okay, but Spring container is saying, I'll do this, but programmer, you should give two inputs for this. As a programmer, as a programmer or developer, you should give two inputs. One is actually class, I'm just calling, right? Yes. Okay, so the first one, you have to write one class that follows some rules given by container. This actually called spring bean. Okay, so the first input is actually spring bean. This is the input given by programmer, you write this. Okay, programmer, you write spring bean. What is the meaning of spring bean? Spring bean is a class. Okay, it follows what? That follows the rules given by spring container. Spring bean is a class. Spring bean is a class that is given some rules, it is following, that is given by spring container. I'll give all the rules later. Okay, as of now, just remember spring bean is a class that is given rules given by container. If you follow the rules only, then only container creates object to your class. Else it says, no, 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 I can't create the object. Second one, spring configuration file. Spring configuration file, this is the most important thing in spring. It's a spring configuration file. And this configuration again we can write in three ways. One is XML configuration, second Java configuration, third annotation configuration. Okay, Java and annotation slightly different actually here. Okay, so looks similar but they are completely different here. Three types of configurations we have: XML configuration, Java configuration, and annotation configuration. In that, most important and mostly used in real time is annotation configuration. Of course, Java configuration too. XML configuration almost outdated. Okay, only in the maintenance projects, old applications, current running project, you may see XML configuration. Okay, it's almost outdated, so we'll discuss very less over this one, and mostly we see on annotations configuration. Okay, so XML is very slow and its parsing problems and schema configurations and all lengthy conflicts are there. Okay, we'll see this one by one. It's a non-Java application again converted to Java. Like, we have so many limitations in XML. Okay, now listen the points, revising for a second. First, we are discussing about Spring framework. The first concept is Spring container. Okay, first concept is Spring container. Listen. First, scan your classes. Second, create the object. Third, provide data. Fourth, link objects. Okay, fifth, after uses, finally destroy. Okay, destroy the objects. It's a 5 steps. Container will do these 5 steps. For this, programmer is asking, write one class. Okay, provide some details. Okay, so details of what is the object name, what is the data to inject, and what are the link details. That is called configuration. Okay, let me show one dummy configuration. You may not understand completely. Okay, just I'll write one dummy configuration, just listen. Okay, I'll write one simple example spring bean, I'll write, and one dummy configuration I'll write. Just observe, you may not understand completely, because I just want to start spring boot, not spring mainly. Okay, for that I'm just explaining. Okay, look at example here. Look at example I'm writing. The first one is actually spring bean. I'm writing here something like a package. Just I'm writing in dot naresh it dot Raghu. Just I'm writing. It's a dummy code. Just observe. Just I'm writing a dummy code here. Public class my DB connection. Like this, I'm writing my database connection, a class. Okay, inside that, I'm just writing some variable here. Private string, it's a driver. Okay, just I'm writing private string URL. Next, I'm writing it's a private string username and private string password. Okay, like this we have some sample code. There will be finding set get methods and toString methods and all here. Okay, now example second, spring configuration I'm writing. Let me take XML configuration first of all. I'll show all the types of configurations if you want. XML configuration. Okay, so by taking this configuration and this spring bean, container creates the object. Okay, just I'm writing a tag called bean. Bean means object. Remember, it's a bean means object. Creating the object. I am telling to a container, please create this object. Okay, bean means object here. Okay, that should contain class. What is your class name? Okay, this is a package name. This is a package name dot mydb connection. Okay, mydb connection. Okay, second, just I'm writing id, object name, or id. Okay, some con connection I'm writing. Then we used to write a tag called it's a property. Name is equals to, there is a variable available. Property means variable. Driver. Okay, just I'm writing value is equals to, short format I'm writing, it's a oracle driver. It's a oracle driver. Like we have multiple properties. Okay, second one, url. Just I'm writing short code, jdbc colon oracle colon thin colon dot dot dot. Next one, it's a username naresh it. Next I'm writing password. Just I'm writing Raghu. So like this, if you write here, like this, if you write here, then what container will do? When you write this configuration here, okay, when you write this configuration, okay, container says actually, okay, I'll take this object, I'll take this configuration, I'll create one object. What is the object name? It's a con. Bean means what? Bean means object. Bean means actually object. Okay, then it's setting the data here internally. Okay, driver is equals to some value, url is equals to some value, like that. So spring container is creating the object. Spring container is creating the object. This is called xml configuration. So this what we learn in spring programming. Okay, this is creating the object and it's a providing the data. Just overview I'm just giving. Bean tag, it indicates to container create object. It is saying to container create object. Next one, it's a tag property. It indicates to container provide data to particular variable. Here internally it will call set method. A container do this task. Okay, now this is configuration. If you observe very carefully, second one, spring configuration. Just now we wrote some dummy code. You can see it's a spring configuration. This is not required to write. Where? In Spring Boot reduces configuration work. That is also called as auto configuration. Concept name is, the first concept in Spring Boot is actually auto configuration. Why Spring Boot? If someone asks actually here, Spring Boot also internally spring programming, point number one. Okay, but it reduces lines of code. Okay, instead of saying lines of code, which code? It's a configuration code. In the future you are need not to write any configuration. Happy writing means problem, don't write means very happy. Okay, understand? I'm just coming back to spring boot actually here. Okay, listen. Oreo of spring framework, first point is container, finding the class, creating the object, providing the data, linking the object, finally destroy. For that it is asking two things, spring bean and spring configuration. Once you come to spring boot, you need not to write this. Only just work on this one actually. You need not write the configuration, especially. Okay, we'll be having some categories I'll show here. Okay, I'm just giving some overview point about this one here. So about spring boot. Okay, spring boot. Okay, now I'm saying here spring boot benefit is actually reducing this configuration. No need of writing this configuration. Sir, how it will work? How it will work? Let me take one case study and I'll explain this one here. Observe. I'll just take one case study and I'll explain. Okay, if you have any questions, I'll give some time at the end. You can ask. Okay, as of now, just listen the points. Now look at here. You are the developer. You are the developer trying to develop one application, online shopping. You are trying to develop one online shopping application. Okay. And another developer is actually developing banking application, net banking application. Okay. Online shopping application and net banking application you are developing. Look at carefully, one developer is actually doing this work, actually dev work. If you take these two applications, some points will be common. Not only this application, any applications you take, normal applications you take, actually some points will be common, some concepts will be common. Okay. Can you guess what are the common things in shopping application and banking application? Can you identify? Okay, if you identify, you can give answer using chat box. Wrong answer also fine. What are the common things in online shopping or banking application? Very good. Okay, so common things actually here: register, login, profile. Very good. Yeah, continue. Yeah, transactions. Yeah, payments, payments, search, notifications. Okay. Yeah, very good. Security. The register and login comes under security. Okay. You speak about modules. What you explained is about modules. Very good. That is also correct. But what I'm speaking about is technical details. It's really perfect. I'm speaking about technical details. Now look at here. Now let me show here. Database operations. Database operations. Common. You take banking application or online shopping application, insert, update, delete, technical things I'm speaking. Okay, not module wise. You explained about module. Very good, that is also correct. I'm speaking about technical. Database operations are common. Okay, so next one, transaction management. Transaction management, simply we can call commit or rollback. Okay, database operation, database connection, transaction management. As you said, actually security. Security. Okay, that's something like a register and login. Okay, or OTP verification and all. Security is actually common. Okay, so here not only this, we have so many email alerts. Email alerts. Okay, scheduled tasks will be there actually here. Okay, online shopping, they are going to send some messages to users on every month first, or as some reports will be generated, and every night that's 9 o'clock. Bank application, for every month first day, they are going to send some invoice copies or GST details to people. Okay, so these are the technical things. Okay, some coding part, coding concepts I'm speaking, not the modules. Okay, this is also correct. Okay, I'm speaking about coding concepts. Coding concepts will be common if you take two different applications. Not everything, but mostly. Not everything, but mostly, if you take two different applications, coding concepts will be common. Okay, so in that, let me take first example, database operation. Okay, let me take first example, database operation. That means a database connection. Just now I wrote here, right? One example, database connection. This database connection is a common thing. Why do you write this? Hey, programmer, don't write this database. Okay, what you are doing, you are writing one project. Okay, you are writing one project actually, online shopping application. Okay, this is project. This project is completely implemented by using spring framework. Okay, line number 1 onwards, okay, you should only code. Okay, everything work done by developer only. Okay, complete coding is done by developer only. Okay, this actually. Now coming to spring boot, what it says. Okay, it is also internal spring framework only. Observe. Okay, it says, hey, online shopping means database connection, transaction management, security, email alert, schedule task common. For these you don't write the code. Assumption, you have something like 100 lines of code. Okay, now same project I am just trying to develop, same project I am trying to develop, this time it will become something like 60 lines of code. What about remaining 40 lines? Remaining 40 lines are given by one predefined project. Okay, you know, in core Java inheritance, right? In a similar way, there is actually one project available that is called parent project. Parent project is actually a ready-made project. Okay, your online shopping is there, right? Your project is actually called child project. Listen this point, this is child project, this is very important. Okay, there is a parent project. This parent project is given by a company called pivotal team. It's a company named pivotal team, and they named this parent project as a spring boot. Okay, they named this as a spring boot. Okay, they said, hey programmer, hey programmer, you don't write everything, you don't write everything, we are giving some project. Okay, we are giving something like half project, it's not a complete one, we are just giving one parent project. You write your project, it's a child project. Okay, your child project is going to connect with a parent project. Okay, and that will get some data. This is given by pivotal team. Okay, in core Java there is a concept called inheritance. Do you remember inheritance? There is a class A having some lines of code. Okay, someone written this one, you write class B that extends A. When you write extends A, you no need of writing complete code, already whatever the code available A, that will be given to B, you can continue remaining. Here also same. Okay, what is the difference between spring and spring boot? Spring and spring boot concepts. Spring, everything you should write from the line number 1. Coming to spring boot, one project is given, one project is given, this called parent project, that is called pivotal team, that says, hey programmer, hey programmer, you write one project that is called child project, inherit this parent project that reduces the lines of code. Parent project reduces, okay, 40 to 60% of code, and sometimes more than that, even sometimes 80%, 90% also. Okay, so it is going to reduce this much code actually here. Okay, it work is reduced actually here. Understand some points I'm just giving here, and we should understand what kind of code also. Okay, it is saying here code is reduced, very good, happy, but what kind of code? That's called configuration code, I'll explain. Now listen the points here. What is spring boot? Spring boot is a framework created using spring framework only. It behaves like, it behaves like parent project to our project. Parent project to our project, we can also call it a child project. Okay, that provides, that provides common codes, common code. Okay, are you writing any project, some common codes will be there. Okay, something like database operations, transaction management, security, email alert, schedules, like we have some common code. Okay, example, database connection is a common. CRUD operations, insert, update, delete is a common. Security is a common. Transaction management, it's a common. Okay, email alerts is a common. Scheduled task is a common. Okay, like we have so many things actually, I'll show what are the common things. Okay, we have message queues, rest services, that's called API creation. Okay, server configuration. Okay, connection pooling, like we have so many, I'll give those later one by one. These common things reduced. Okay, so above common works, above common things are handled by Spring Boot parent project. Spring Boot parent project. So work reduced to programmer. Okay, that is only benefit actually here. Okay, look at the point here. Observe what is Spring Boot. Spring Boot also a framework. Okay, Spring Boot also a framework created using Spring internally. Created using Spring internally. Okay, Spring Boot also it's a framework that is created using Spring internally here. Okay, that behaves like a parent project. Spring Boot is a parent project. Okay, what it will do? It will provide the common code. Common code examples are these. Okay, I'll show one full example, don't worry. Okay, so these things are handled by Spring Boot parent project. Okay, Spring Boot is actually parent project that is given by pivotal team. Okay, we should write one child project that will reduce some lines of code. So what is the meaning of common code? Okay, very good, you are saying common code. So what are they? Okay, common code means so many will be there here, let me show. Okay, so what this parent project will do? This parent project provides common code or common files, we can also call here. Some classes will be there like database connection, just now we have seen, and configuration will be there. Okay, jars, we require some jars actually here, and we require some servers. Okay, databases, plugins, maven plugins and all, build plugins will be there here. All this actually given by parent project. Okay, all is actually given by parent project only here. Okay, so providing these common things, okay, everything is given by parent project. Spring Boot is giving common classes, common configuration, common jars, common servers, common databases and common plugins. Server also it is giving, yes. Database also it is giving, yes. Plugin also it is giving, no need to download and install this. Okay, such common things, okay, provided actually here. That is only we are calling as a auto configuration mainly. Auto configuration, the first important feature of Spring Boot. Okay, the first important feature of Spring Boot is auto configuration. Okay, observe here, what is the meaning of auto configuration? I'm just showing here. What is the meaning of auto configuration here? Providing common setup for a task or a module. Providing common setup for a task or a module in application. Okay, that gives common classes, config files, jars, server, database and plugins, etc. So here that reduces work. Okay, let me take one example of Spring and Spring Boot. Okay, I just want to give overview of Spring Boot only. Okay, I'm not touching Spring now, but I just want to give some example for that. I'm just taking here. Okay, let us see. This is Spring example here. Okay, Spring example here. Okay, look at Spring framework code. Spring framework code. Okay, it's a configuration I'm just taking here. It's a configuration I'm just taking here. Okay, and also we need to add some jars. Okay, we need to add some jars actually here. Okay, for example, this actually Spring ORM jar we need to add. Observe, I'm just showing the Spring ORM Maven dependency. Okay, if you don't know about this, don't worry. I'm just showing these are all not required. Okay, this dependency I'm just adding here. This dependency we need to add. Spring ORM we should add. Okay, Spring context we should add. Okay, this jars we need to add here. Okay, MySQL or OJDBC we should add actually. So like this we should add all the jars actually here. Okay, like this in Spring we should write. In Spring we should write the configuration. We should write the jars actually here. Okay, all this process. Coming to Spring Boot coding. Look at carefully Spring Boot coding. In Spring we are writing like configuration and jars. Of course database and servers also required actually here. Okay, coming to Spring Boot, look at the code. Spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen jdbc. Completed. Code is completed. Yes, what you are listening is correct, sir. Where is the code? If you look at some line actually at 102 line number, okay, there is a line 102 line. You can see spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen jdbc. Okay, when you add this line in your child project, when you add that line in the child project, it will go and ask parent, hey parent, give me starter concepts of jdbc, means all this configuration and all these jars, you give it to me. You give it to me. Of course we need to add mysql dependence additionally here. Spring Boot starter, okay, just add either using maven or using gradle. Only we have two options. Okay, you can use either maven or gradle. I'll show this build tools later, project management and build tools actually here. Okay, so you should add inside your child project, just add spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen jdbc. Okay, then all required setup, all required setup for jdbc is given by parent project, given by parent project. Okay, so to your child project, to your project, that's it, over, coding completed. Okay, so whatever you are writing, just I'm showing here, whatever you're writing, bean tag, property tag, name, values and all, this is reduced completely Spring Boot starter jdbc. Okay, not only this, we have so many starters, I'll just show the list actually. Okay, so a starter is actually ready-made code that reduce actually work. Okay, that reduce actually work here. Okay, you can see all the starters list here. Okay, if you want to do message queues programming, ActiveMQ. If you want to do AOP programming, Attrins programming, batch programming, cache programming. Okay, so like jdbc programming, jpa programming, mongodb programming. Okay, so what this starter will do, observe carefully, this is a common word. Okay, starter means actually ready-made code, ready-made code. Okay, that may give code some 50 to 40 to 60% or 80%, 100%, that depends on the concept actually, I can't say exactly this much. Okay, a ready-made code, in your simple words, it's a jar. Okay, it's actually jar contains dot class files for a given concept. Okay, it's a given concept, it's a jar, it contains completely ready-made code. What you are writing manually in Spring, that's completely automated in Spring Boot. Okay, but not everything, but not everything here, so it's providing here, now understand. Okay, but here we have to provide some inputs also. Okay, there is actually file application dot properties. Okay, code given, but what about data? What about data? Driver is equals to Oracle driver, you should give in application dot properties, you should give like this, driver is equals to Oracle driver. Okay, url is equals to jdbc colon mysql colon or Oracle colon. Okay, username is equals to nit, password is equals to Raghu. Like this, you have to give some key values. That's it. Okay, but provide inputs. You need to provide inputs to application. Okay, now understand the point here. Question I'm just giving. What is starter? Or spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen some dash. Okay, what is this one? Okay, it is a jar file that contains ready-made code, which is common for every Spring Boot project. for every project. Example, let me give JDBC only. If we add this, what are the things that you are going to get? Okay, example, it gives what? Okay, database connection, it will only create, will do database connection, connection pooling, connection pooling. Okay, enable support for transaction management. Okay, JDBC template object creation, like we have so many. It is when you add this line, these are all automatically handled, will do by Spring Boot. Okay, Spring Boot says you just add this line, you just add this line inside your project, it will reduce. Okay, let me show some ready-made status example list. Okay, it's actually Spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen mail, Spring hyphen boot hyphen starter hyphen web, starter hyphen security, starter hyphen, okay, that's actually scheduling. Okay, starter hyphen AOP, aspect oriented programming. For every concept there is a starter. A simple point, starter reduces your work. Previously you are writing 100 lines, yeah, data source means database connection. Previously you are writing 100 lines, now it will reduce some 40 lines, 60 lines, 80 lines, that depends on the concept. Okay, this starter only called as auto configuration, that is only first feature of Spring Boot, that is only first feature of Spring Boot. Okay, revising this point, please look at what is Spring Boot. Listen carefully, what is Spring Boot? Spring Boot is a framework created using Spring internally. It behaves like a parent project, this is very important word. Okay, that behaves like a parent project to every project, every project, parent project to every project, which is given by a company called Pivotal Team, that is given by a company called Pivotal Team, that reduces common code. Okay, if you take one project, these are all common things that reduces. How it will reduce? By using the concept called auto configuration. Auto configuration nothing but providing the common setup. What are the common setup means? Common setup means common classes, common configuration, common jars, servers, databases, and plugins. Yes, of course, everything is given by Spring Boot only. Servers also, Tomcat server, JBoss, 100 of servers are there. Okay, so here database also, yes, some database also it will give. If you want, you can work with your own databases too. Okay, so that work is, if you compare Spring Framework code and Spring Boot code, Spring Boot just add this line and you can do remaining. You can do some card operations and all here. Okay, that word is actually called starter. Okay, how auto configuration is handled by using the concept called starter. Okay, what is starter? A starter is a ready-made jar file that contains ready-made code actually, which provides common for every project. Okay, so if we add JDBC starter, it will go to parent, hey, give me complete JDBC setup. If we add web starter, it will go and ask, give me completely web setup. If we add security starter, it will take security setup. Okay, final conclusion point I just want to give. In Spring, everything you are only writing, in Spring Boot it is reducing the code. Okay, it is reducing the code by giving auto configuration or starter. Okay, not only this, we have so many points to discuss. Just remember this one. Okay, what is the major difference between Spring and Spring Boot is, Spring you are writing everything, Spring Boot it is reducing. But what it is reducing, what we have to write, if we have such question, we have to wait until that concept comes. Okay, we'll go for one by one chapter. For example, database programming, web programming, I'll show what is the difference between Spring and Spring Boot. Okay, so many people will be having some common questions. Sir, I don't know Spring, can I join? 100% you can join, but whatever the concepts I'm giving extra, you should learn those. Okay, sir, I'm ready to learn additional concepts, you can join. Okay, so many people says, I know core Java and advanced Java, can I join to this batch? Yes, you can join, but without this knowledge you can't. Without core Java and advanced Java you cannot. Okay, I will teach Spring concepts and Hibernate concepts, what are required for Spring Boot. Okay, up to advanced Java and core Java your responsibility, remaining and all I'll teach, don't worry, slowly step by step I'll give here. Second thing, okay, are we going to give any recordings? No, only demo sessions will give recordings. Okay, some important concepts I may give, but not everything. Some security concepts I'll give, something like JWT concept. Okay, so ELK concepts, Angular integration, React integration, few I'll give. Mostly I can say no recordings. No recordings will be given. Okay, every day regular session you have to attend. Okay, i will cover I will cover Spring basics and Hibernate basics from my side. Okay, advanced Java you need not to be expert. Core Java you must be good. Advanced Java basic sufficient. Servlets basic programming sufficient, but minimum knowledge required. Advanced Java you should be minimum knowledge required. Every day 1 hour session will be there. Okay, 3 months 15 days duration. Okay, all notes will be given soft copies only. Okay, so Angular, it is actually going to given with Angular or React JS, any one. You can opt any one this course. Okay, if you pay money for Spring Boot, if you pay money for Spring Boot, either Angular or React JS. Okay, 3 months 15 days is the duration. It's a duration. Okay, so Angular or React JS will be given any one option. Okay, any one. It's a free for this batch only. Actually we take payment service for this. Okay, so here not me, other faculties will teach actually here. Mostly Sudhakar sir will teach actually. Okay, okay, I'll give the course content tomorrow because today demo session only. I'll share this course content. Okay, if you have any doubts and all, okay, you can send an email to me, javabyragu@gmail.com. Okay, within few hours I'll share this course content. Okay, I'll share the course content in my Facebook group. Initial notes is also I'll post in my Facebook group, the Java Temple. Okay, this the Java Temple. This is my group. There you can just make a join request. Okay, I'll post the course content within few hours. This is a Facebook group. Okay, so for other technical details, you can contact admin. Admin name is actually Srikant. Okay, +91 630 296 8665. You can do WhatsApp. It's a WhatsApp number. You can just do WhatsApp. You will get response. Okay. Yeah, this is Spring Boot Cloud and Microservice batch. This is Spring Boot Cloud and Microservice batch. Okay. So here we'll cover everything here. I'm just giving the details in the chat box. It's a completely paid batch. Okay. Notes will be given soft copies only using class drive. I'll share after. Okay, our batch started. Okay, I'll give two more demos also tomorrow and day after tomorrow also. Demo session will be there, but demo session also part of course only. Okay, yeah, Spring data. Okay, overview of concepts you want to know. Okay, I'll cover Spring core, Spring boot core. I'll cover concepts names if you want here. Spring data I'll cover. Okay, recordings will not be given. Okay, Spring web MVC, Spring REST. That's actually using Spring Boot. All these concepts here. Okay, security, microservices. Okay, and deployments, cloud deploy. Okay, ELK stack and tools will be there. Okay, Docker. Okay, JUnit, Maven, Gradle. Okay, subject wise almost I'll cover everything here. Need not to about completely live coding. Okay, I want to open any existed project and I'll show here. Okay, okay, Ravi, if any complication happened for any particular session, definitely I'll revise the content for sure. Okay, if something missed like that, we'll be giving revision. Okay, there is no problem for that. Okay, Kiran, I don't know actually. Please contact admin about that. Okay, so this actually we are going to show here everything. Okay, our own cloud is there, PCF is there, Heroku cloud deployment is there. Like we have so many, any cloud deploy you just take, it's okay. Yeah, microservice will be involved Eureka, Strix, load balancer. Jayant, it's a lengthy content is there for microservice. I just gave a small one. Okay. It's a 2 pages content is there for microservice. I'll share it. Okay. Class timing will be same. It won't be changed. It's a fixed one. 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Okay. Yes, I'll teach Netflix OSS as well here. Shubham, yes, I'll teach that. No, I won't cover Angular, Ready N. I'll cover only Spring Boot. Angular you have to attend with other project. It's a free one we are giving. Okay, you have to communicate with other faculty. Okay, we'll let you know. Okay. Payments, Saurav, it's actually 5,000 Indian rupees actually amount. It's a 5,000 INR. You can contact with admin here. Yeah, microservice complete concepts will be there. Dip. Yeah, Prasad, classes will be conducted from Monday to Saturday. Yeah, Jitendra, I'll cover JPA also. Vishnu, tools, DevOps tools, I'll give introduction and basic knowledge. DevOps tools, if you want to learn in depth, you have to go to DevOps classes. For example, Angular integration, I'll give only Angular. I won't teach Angular. Other faculties will teach. Okay. Yeah, including Angular or React.js, it's a 5,000. Spring Boot, completely I'll give the depth. Don't worry about that. Subject wise, I'll give high. Okay. Angular and React, other faculties you have to learn. Okay. That's free only. Okay. Yeah, PSP, VHH, I'll support for error and exception handling process also. Mini projects will be covered in this batch, not regular main project. Some basic mini projects will be given Maurya. Okay. Ravi, I'll create a class drive later temporarily. It's a Facebook group. I'll create a class drive later where all students can communicate. Yeah, Java 8 features minimum. Okay. Yeah, Harish, Mohanta, this is completely 3.5 months, completely Spring Boot only. Sai, if you have any personal questions, send an email to me. I'll give reply. Okay. Jayant, mini projects, CRUD applications. Okay. So something like database mini projects will be given here. Separate major project you want, it's a separate batch. I'll let you know. Angular classes will inform mostly after few days. Okay. Once it is any batch started, we'll let you know here. Okay. So in this 3 months, 15 days, okay. So it is almost equal 50% Spring Boot and 50% microservice will be taken. No need of attending separate RESTful web service, Rajesh. This is included with Spring Boot RESTful and microservice. Here I'll cover that. Need not to attend separate web services, not required. Yeah, completely this is for Spring Boot and microservice here. No, Ravi, this is only duration with very less actually here. Okay. Subject I we are going to cover everything here. Yeah, in this course, web service also covered. No need of attending separate web service. Abhishek, subject will be more than that only. Don't worry. Okay, subject will be given more. Yeah, unit testing also covered. Spring Boot unit testing also covered. Yes, JUnit with Marketo only covered here. No, there is only RESTful web service. SOAP is not there. It's actually removed. Only RESTful web service. Git also covered. Okay. Ankit Patil, I'll give Spring concepts also, don't worry. You can just go through my sessions, you will understand, not to worry about that. Okay. Jyoti, I'll only give information about that Angular and React, don't worry. Yeah, actuator will be covered. Okay. Yeah, Shivakumar, complete concepts will be there. Okay, concepts wise, you don't worry about that. DevOps tools, for example, Angular tools and DevOps tools will be there. Those you have to learn separately. I'll give integrations. Okay, only DevOps will take again 3 months. Okay, that we cannot. DevOps integrations and basics will give. Okay, so based on the experience, what to learn, I'll show here. Okay, if you are actually fresher to 2 plus experience, okay, learn Spring Boot. Okay, so plus Angular. Okay, just sufficient here. If you have 2 plus 2, something like a 5 plus, I recommend, okay, Spring Boot plus any UI technologies and also AWS. Okay, so 5 plus 2 more actually here. Okay, Spring Boot, UI technologies, AWS, and also you should have some knowledge on algorithms. Okay, design patterns, algorithms actually here. Okay, security configs. Okay, like cloud designs we need additionally here. I will cover only Spring Boot. Okay, Angular you have to learn separately, UI technologies you have to learn separately, AWS you have to learn separately. In this course, these two are conducted actually, either Angular or React JS. Payment is taken. Okay, I will cover only Spring Boot with integration example of Angular. Okay, I'll give only integration, you have to learn separate, faculty will teach this, not me, separate faculty will teach. I will cover only Spring Boot. Okay, so this is given for free only for this batch here. If you want to learn other AWS or DevOps, okay, I'll give only basics of this. Okay, separate AWS and DevOps will be, yes, it will be there, another faculty which they will teach and they will take payment. Okay, so I'll give only overview of this, I'll give only overview. Okay, if you want to learn them, yes, you can just go through that. Okay, so that separate payment will be there. Okay, if you want any other information, something like payment packages and all, you can contact Srikant. Additional informations if you want here, you can contact Srikant. Okay, so payment related things, package related things. Okay, what are conducted here. Okay, this is completely Spring Boot and microservice. Okay, yeah, Spring MVC also I cover, don't worry about that. MVC also I'll cover. No recording session will be given, no recording sessions will be given, but major concepts, if I feel it's a very complicated and important, few I'll give, that too just very rare. Okay, something like 20 to 30 major concepts I'll give recording, Prashant. Okay, all recording sessions cannot be given. Okay, so this is demo 1. Continuation we are going to see tomorrow, it's a demo 2. Okay, thank you for session. If you have any questions, please contact here.